Certainly, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has a lot on his plate this week with his second budget speech, an eagerly anticipated address indeed. Many companies have questions about how the minister will navigate revenue collection and whether we can expect any taxes to be imposed, or how he will address the tax rebates for businesses that go the solar power route in order to circumvent rolling blackouts. Jeff Ryan is the MD at Business Efficiency Specialist AWCape, and he joins us now. Jeff, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Let's talk about the top three priorities that you think businesses in South Africa will look out for in Wednesday's budget speech.
Sure, yeah, look, I think there's a couple of things that people are looking at. Obviously, where the money's going to come from and what's going to be spent on. And then the third thing for me is, how's that going to affect my business? That's what we're picking up as the three top priorities of what businesses are looking at the moment.
It is highly unlikely that an income tax increase will be, imposed, and it wouldn't be well received either way, and only likely to cause even further brain drain, as you said earlier on when we spoke, already because of the diminished tax base. What about, though, the wealth tax? There's been a lot of agreement taking place about including a new tax for the rich. How do you think that would be received?
So look, I don't think it would be very well received, but personal opinion on this, I don't have a problem with the wealth tax being applied. The problem with the current state of affairs, and in the words of Edward Kizu, it's not a policy problem, it's a collection issue. So the problem we have in this country at the moment is the tax base that's there, whether they've gained money through corruption or through a normal business process, is they're not being taxed efficiently. And the Vision 2024 is very important for SARS. If we can get enough money out of the individuals that actually have money, there's no need to look for other opportunities to tax people. So whether or not constitutionally a wealth tax goes through or not is kind of neither here nor there. It's really around how we actually collect that tax if it was implemented.
You've made a couple of recommendations, Jeff, and one of those is that corporate tax rates should be significantly reduced in the current circumstances that households and particularly businesses find themselves in. But one would say that corporates did get a tax break recently when the corporate taxes were actually reduced. Why would this be useful right now? Another tax base from the corporate sector.
Sure. So I think there's a couple of elements there, but most importantly, reducing the tax base or the burden that is on South African businesses because of the pressures of load shedding, they're having to buy generators or looking at renewable energies, the economy, gas prices, diesel all going up. The cost of goods sold is a lot more expensive than previously. We don't have infrastructure to use other than the road transports. The infrastructure is dying there. We're facing increasing interest rates. The environment for business is very tough. We're noticing as a Sage business partner on our HR and payroll side of the business, they're reducing the number of employees on their HR and payroll system, which means a lot of businesses are going through retrenchments or downsizing. So in an environment like that, to not ease the tax burden is going to cause more businesses to either close or downsize, which is going to decrease your employees in the business, which is only going to result in lower income tax base because those are the employees that actually are going to increase their spending in the environment and actually have more tax to be collected by SARS. So again, for me, it's a controversial statement, but I think the tax burden on businesses should be reduced to increase spend in the economy.
Jeff, inefficiencies that are at state-owned entities have put our economy in the worst situation it has been since the global financial crisis, and they are an impediment to growth. How do you think the minister should actually address these inefficiencies at SOEs?
Yeah, look, it's not necessarily all SOEs. I think in particular where the biggest problems are going to come about is where there's a monopoly of certain infrastructure. You can see the devastating impacts that Eskom has had on the economy. You look at any free market sort of environment, when there's more supply, the cost is effective and the actual delivery of services generally are a lot of better quality. So the investment and spend in a monopoly where there's opportunity for corruption or for taking advantage of the government environment causes inefficiencies and lack of competition, which invariably leads to poor quality services. And what we're seeing on Eskom is just an effect of that over a longer period. So we really hope that there's no investments into the SOEs that one have a monopoly or literally just a black hole that have no need for us in our current environment. We need to be spending on infrastructure, education, and letting private enterprises come in and show how good they are. Let people invest in it. Give corporate tax breaks for foreign investors to come in. South African goods being supported more. South African employees getting bigger tax rebates. All of those things are what we support and what we want to see for the economy.
Jeff Ryan is the MD at Business Efficiency Specialist AWCape. Thank you very much, Jeff, for your time this afternoon. Calling for the Minister to slash corporate taxes, something that many people would frown upon because there was a recent 1 percentage point tax break, if I remember correctly, and many would think that corporates are the last people who actually may need that tax break. Thank you very much there for your time. Well,